whenever you have a situation where you are doing the strategy, but you also have the strategy slash coaching,
Hmm.
maybe they already have a lawyer or maybe they do need a mental health professional. How do you deal with those situations? And do you find that the attorneys are open to this, or do you find that they're opposed?
Some are open, some are not.
Do you ever get nasty emails?
I do, and
Okay.
I've had many clients in the past that have wanted me on calls with their attorneys,
What do you do with that?
or I'll do it if they want me
Oh,
to.
okay.
I mean, they understand that there's a privilege issue with that, but as long as they understand, I've sit in meetings with experts and clients, like people that some people are so see. This is what attorneys don't always understand. Sometimes your client is so emotionally fragile that they don't hear what's being said. They don't hear it. They really almost need somebody to interpret what just happened.
Okay.
And attorneys are really, it's the whole thing. If you say something to somebody and go, "Do you understand what I just said?" It's human nature always to say yes. But a lot of times, clients don't understand what just happened. If they're sitting in a meeting with an accountant, and the accountant's saying all these things, the attorney's asking all these questions, and they're like, "Do you have any questions?" I mean, sometimes people don't even understand what just happened. So I'll send in some of those meetings. It's not my preference to do it, but I'll do it so that I can help them sort of unpack what just happened, and I can explain it to them in a different way. I also help guys find attorneys. That's another thing that I've been doing. I've been toying with sort of a course in terms of how to look for an
Yeah.
attorney, because most people just go and they look. What were the things people look for? Who told me this person was great because they got this great result for somebody else, or who's the cheapest? I mean, it's like people shop for attorneys the same way they shop for just about everything else.
This is crazy.
It is. And so I try to help them understand like what to look for. Like, don't look for someone who dabbles, look for someone who does this primarily. If divorce and family law isn't like the major thing on their website, probably not the right person for you. So yeah, but most attorneys are open. They understand that we're there to help, not to hurt them or to make things more difficult for them. And I don't second guess an attorney
Yeah.
ever.
What I love about it is, and when you were talking about it, I started to think about all the adjacent areas where you could branch this out into and make it so much bigger if you really wanted to. And I know that you're not motivated by this, but I mean, you could build like an empire around it if you really wanted to, where you have the mental health side of things. You could do pay for leads kind of a thing. There's so many things you could do with it. I think it's kind of interesting, but I want to shift over to something else though when it comes to how do you avoid dabbling in, let's say you find someone in Missouri that you're strategizing with, and how do you prevent yourself from getting into, you know, practicing law or giving legal advice?
So what will happen often is I will get like a letter or a proposed agreement that my coaching client attorney has prepared. My
Okay.
coaching client will say, "Will you look at this with me?" And so what I'll usually do is just I'll pose questions to them to ask to their attorney without flat out saying, "What the hell did this attorney just write
Sure.
here?"
Yeah.
Like I don't like I never do that. I just sort of like pose the question, like maybe ask why it was worded this way, and maybe like what is it that you want to do? Oh, you want to do this? Well, maybe see if there's a different way to get there. Just make sure the attorney understands what you want so that we can get to the right language. I try not to cross the line. There have been a couple occasions where I have just emailed an attorney directly at my client's permission, but not copy my client
Sure.
and just been like, "Listen, I saw this thing in the agreement. Do you understand that your client is actually wants this?" I don't know if he was clear. He may not have been clear. I try to be very
Sure.
diplomatic about it.
Yeah.
And most of the attorneys are happy with that. I've only had one attorney ever that got upset that I was involved. And then what interestingly happened is my coaching client fired that attorney because it was like, okay, well, if you're not going to work with my coach, then I'm going to go somewhere else. But I'm there to be a supplement and to help,
Yeah.
not to be a hindrance. But being an attorney is helpful because I see things. I mean, I don't like the way, I mean, it's like any attorney. You see what someone else wrote and you're like, oh my God. And it's hard not to want to rewrite it if you're reviewing it.
Sure.
But sometimes you just have to say, okay, does it accomplish the goal? Fine. So even though it was worded like, a ninth grader wrote it and it's grammatically insane, it does what it needs to do. So it's okay.
It's what I like about it, and I am very curious how receptive other attorneys are whenever they listen to this to it. But I'm kind of envisioning the times where it's kind of a difficult client where I'd love to have you as a buffer. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
having that buffer, and I do see how it could be a lot cheaper for the client if you're billing on an hourly basis because unless they're paying you hourly, but or I guess how do they pay you?
So it's usually like a program
Okay,
of a certain
that's what I thought it
certain number
was.
of
Yeah.
weeks, and I mean, I do unlimited like email communication with them.
Yeah, so in a
So
situation like that, I mean, it's cheaper for them. They're not
mhm.
paying the attorney by the hour. It's something where you can help filter a lot of those communications, and so you can receive 10 emails instead of the attorney getting 10 emails. And you're that filter where it could be a massive advantage to to an attorney. It's almost you could sell it almost like as a concierge service in a way. I know that that's not what it is, but you kind of in a way it could be a really I mean that could be a massive benefit. I wonder why there aren't more of these that have popped up, unless maybe there are, but
Well, there's not a lot of divorce coaches out in the world that are attorneys. I mean, most divorce coaches, well, anyone can call themselves a coach.
sure.
It's like just plop it.
So there are divorce coaches. There's lots of there's
There's a lot of divorce coaches out there, but
really
a lot of them don't really understand divorce.
yeah.
So a lot of them became a divorce coach because they had a bad divorce themselves,
Mm,
or they went and got some accreditation from I don't know where I don't know who was accredited to do this sort of thing, but whatever. And so they don't really have the full background of like every step of a divorce and everything that's happened. Like I've been a divorce attorney for 22 years.
yeah.
I've done I think around 1,800 divorces, something like
It's
that.
a lot of divorces.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, I mean, I've seen everything, I've done everything. So so when I coach people, it's with that background. So there's a lot of people out there that don't have the background, and so I think attorneys would be a little bit more skeptical of someone who maybe they don't think knows what's going on as much, sort of being in this role.
Hmm.
But when they're talking to someone who is an attorney but not acting as an attorney, at least then, like I've had attorneys help me convince our mutual client of something. And a lot of times I agree with the attorney that they need to be convinced of something. And so there are times it's a good supplement. But you're right. I mean, like, here's the thing I do more often than not. I just got this email from my wife. This is in the middle of divorce. Just
Hmm.
got this email from my wife. Can you look at my response and tell me if it's okay? I get that probably 5 or 6 times a week. And that is or I get text message, same thing. Here's the text message. How should I respond? So that is something that attorneys just don't do.
Right.
I just don't do that because they always see the aftermath. They always see after the emails was sent and then, oh, look what your
Yeah,
client
no
sent,
kidding. Yes.
So I do that a lot and I help them rewrite things. And the goal isn't not to like hold their hand, but the goal is to help them learn how to communicate, learn how to put things through. And I love AI now because now I can like tell them, take what you just wrote, dump it into Claude or ChatGPT or Grok or whatever you want to use and say, can you rewrite this in this particular tone or that particular tone?
Sure.
I mean, so I'm trying to help guys understand that, use all these tools. You may be pissed off, but AI can make you seem less pissed off.
100%.
So let's make you less pissed off, which will probably upset your wife even more that you're unemotional, but that's better for you in the long run.
I like that. I like